Welcome to another brand new episode of Undisputed Nerds. This is the podcast where we take a light-hearted look at comic book movies, TV shows, and everything else in between. I'm one of your hosts, Zane Taicho. As always, I'm joined by my fantastic co-host, the Gentlemanly Gamer.
Hello, everyone in Radioland. Good evening, Zane.
Say hello.
How are we? Hello. Yeah. Say hello. Thanks. Yes. How are you, Zane? How's it going?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Are you enjoying the hot weather that we're currently living through again?
We're back on Weather Talk, aren't we, this week?
Why not?
Yeah.
This week on Weather Talk.
Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic, yeah. Tune in to this podcast where you hear British people moaning about the weather. It's our new specialist subject. We've hit the niche market, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it's quite hot, isn't it, Zane? It's an August heat wave, but it's not as hot as the one that was in July, but it's apparently going to last longer.
That's what she said.
Your hair's doing something different today. For those of you who are listening, you can't see. Zane's got a new do, and I'm curious what this new do is. He's gone very Matt Smith with it. You're channeling the 11th Doctor's do.
Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. Because of course I take all my fashion cues from the 11th incarnation, as we all do. Yeah,
absolutely. Although you did go on that weird route where you had eyebrows like Peter Capaldi.
Angry eyebrows, I think is was what they called them.
Those people who are listening, they don't know the real Zane, but like he had very angry eyebrows and he started swearing like Malcolm Tucker, the other incarnation of Peter Capaldi. It was a weird mix. It was a very weird time.
Yeah, I guess trips to Scotland does that to you, you know.
It does. It definitely didn't. No offense to any Scottish listeners. But yeah, how's your week been in this sweltering heat? So we should probably let the listeners in on a little secret, shouldn't we? We're recording this on not our regular recording day because somebody, well, I say somebody, we're both gallivanting away for weekends, but for different reasons.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, I guess we're both off, so we're doing this on a Wednesday, so we hopefully no major news breaks over Thursday.
It definitely will. It definitely will.
If it does, what do you think will happen?
I think that what's the guy's name who's the head of Discovery DC now? What's his name?
David Slaglan?
Slaglan. Yeah, that's him. Slaglan.
Slaglan.
That's him. Yeah, David Slaglan. Yeah, I think he'll declare that he's bought 2000 AD, and then it's going to be the ultimate showdown between Judge Dredd and Batman, which we've all been waiting to see. Nice.
The return of Karl Urban.
Karl Urban, yes.
Karl Urban, yeah.
Yeah, but you know, it'll get announced that he's going against the Snyderverse Batman, and then Keaton will come in, and you'll be so disappointed.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going to take a hot shot and say Jeff Johns becomes the directive controller of the DC universe.
Wasn't he already director of creative?
I think he was just like a writer or something along those.
I'm pretty sure he was director of creative, and that's why you don't hear much from him now, because he was director of creative when Joss Whedon went crazy.
And that terrible Wonder Woman movie.
Oh yeah, 84. It was awful, wasn't it? Yeah. And the Shazam movie that was terrible.
Is it terrible?
And the Aquaman movie that was awful. Remember all those bad ones?
Was it terrible?
Is it though? Is it though?
You sure?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Is it though? But yeah, no, I don't know. We can have a nice time away. But we're here today to talk about a film that we both watched over the weekend, aren't we, Zane?
We are. We saw them at different times.
The heat's getting to us, guys. Can you tell? Yeah. Zane, did you know that I love to surf?
No, I didn't.
I know, it's amazing. You'd never believe it looking at me, but I am an avid surfer. Not of the sea, though. Oh, no. I am a surfer of the World Wide Web, my friend. And let me tell you something. When I go surfing, I definitely need some protection. Not the usual kind of wetsuit, though. I need some VPN. Do you know what VPN means, Zane?
I don't. What's a VPN?
Well, it would be a virtual private network, and let me tell you, we here at Undisputed Nerds are being sponsored this week, and a big thank you to the episode sponsor, Surfshark VPN. You can get Surfshark VPN 83% off and 3 months free, Zane, if you go to surfshark.deals/Undisputed Nerds and enter in the promo code Undisputed Nerds. Surfshark VPN lets you trick your device into thinking it's in another country, which opens up a whole world of content library, Zane. So think about it this way. If you're in the UK, you can watch US Netflix, which has a far bigger selection of movies. You can get all of your Batfleck content that I know you love, Zane. I know you're looking for. If you're outside of the UK as well, you can watch amazing apps like BBC iPlayer. And if you're in the US, you can finally get access back to the old WWE network with its far superior functionality. We've been using, me and Zane have been using Surfshark here at Undisputed Nerds for a while. It is our official VPN, and it doesn't just let us gain access to all the comic book movies, but it also secures our networks by encrypting internet traffic, keeping our location and download history private. Thankfully, so that people can't see me purchasing wetsuits. My favorite feature on the Surfshark, it knows when my phone leaves a trusted connection, like my home or work internet, and it immediately turns on to prevent interference. It's like having, I don't know, Batfleck's Justice League for your phone, Zane.
I know exactly what you mean.
And I know you've got a lot of Batfleck on your phone right now. So sign up to Surfshark today by using our link in the video description below, surfshark.deals/Undisputed Nerds, where you'll get, again, 83% off and your first 3 months free if you use the code Undisputed Nerds. We really appreciate if you just at least check them out, as they're a great company and we love working with them. Support Undisputed Nerds and support your internet privacy with Surfshark.
Ooh. Yes, we are going to talk about a film that we both witnessed in different cinemas, but...
Can I just ask why you feel the need to separate us like that? It's like, yeah, we both watched it, not together. We weren't in the cinema together. No,
don't jump to conclusions. Yeah.
No, we'd never watch films together. No, not
me
like
and him.
Me and him, that guy. Look at him. He bases all his fashion sense on the Eighth Doctor. I'd never go for him. It's got to be, Russell Davies reboot or nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it's either you do an Eccleston or forget about it. Leather jacket, V-neck, perfect combo.
Do an Eccleston and start yelling at people in the park because they're not keeping it clean enough. I swear I told you about that, didn't I?
Yeah, you did, yeah.
It's amazing.
I saw a gif of him today, actually, where it was from that satellite episode where he says, "Moisturize me." I think the direct line is, "What are you going to do, moisturize me?"
Yes. I think is that the satellite episode? That's the Sun episode, isn't it? Because he's talking to Cassandra.
Yeah. On the satellite station.
Oh, okay. Whenever you say satellite episode, I think of the one where he's Simon Pegg's in it, and they're on that satellite that's like the broadcast center, and it's the Great Jagrafeth or whatever his name is.
Is it not the same satellite? Isn't that the theme throughout? That it's always the same?
No. You're thinking of the oh god, this is getting into nerd territory early. That thing that you're thinking of that Cassandra's on is the platform that witnesses the end of the Earth.
Yes.
That's built to survive the end of the Earth because the sun expands and burns it all up. The satellite thing that the Jagrafeth thing was on is the one that gets taken over by the Daleks in the last episode, and it's got all the game shows on it. Yeah.
And
they all get beamed up into the Dalek fleet, so they can get converted into human Daleks or whatever they are.
Yeah, from reality shows.
Yeah. I still think they need to branch out. I'm going to tell. I've told this joke to somebody who does listen to this show, and they know who they are, and they found it hilarious. So I'll tell it to you. But I still think they should branch out with the Daleks. They need to start getting in touch with their personal side. Like, I really want to see a Dalek poetry reading.
Okay.
Look at the lovely daffodils! Exterminate daffodils!
Just a nice little insert.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah, I
Good,
did.
I'm
Yeah, I
glad.
enjoyed that.
All right.
Can you imagine like a jazz night?
Should we move on?
Babadi baba.
I'm a scat man. Right, let's move on. So we're talking about Bullet Train this week, guys. The Brad Pitt movie. We both enjoyed it. But before we do that, it's time to get to our regularly recurring segments. Segment, I should say, which is we change it every week now because we've gone away from Nicolas Cage for a little bit and we're exploring the wider weirdness of celebrity facts and news. Mm-hmm. So this week I do still have some Patrick Stewart news loaded up, but I'm not going to use the Patrick Stewart news this one because the Patrick Stewart news is too funny. But this week I've gone with a title and then I've worked backwards, Zane.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Hold on to your hats for this one. It's time to say, what's the latest news with Tom Cruise?
Oh no.
Oh, I don't know if he can handle the truth, Zane. We better find out. So let's get some facts going. So, Zane, I am going to read out this headline to you, and then I want you to guess, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay. I'm nervous.
It's okay. It's fine. It's all right. Don't worry. I've kept it non-controversial for the first one, so we'll be safe. Disney modelled a certain beloved character after Cruise. Can you guess which Disney character this is?
Is it Flynn Rider?
No, it's not. That's why I was really surprised by it.
Can I get another guess?
Yes.
I'm going to
hear
say...
the people yelling at the radio or the whatever they listen to their podcast on. Gramophone.
Is it Jim Hawkins from Treasure Planet?
No. Would you like me to tell you?
Okay. Go on then.
Well, this is courtesy of...
Is it Aladdin?
It is Aladdin. It is courtesy of Best Light. So if you ever spotted a slight similarity between Tom Cruise and Aladdin from the Disney film with the same title, it might be because the animators at Disney actually borrowed features from Cruise's face and hair to make the character more likable.
Wow.
So if you ever wonder, if you're watching Aladdin and you think, wow, you know why it is, guys. You know why it is. Look at Zane worried. He's so worried. Look. They're going to come for us.
This is going to be a heavily edited episode.
Yes, anyway, there you go. So, yeah, Tom Cruise is apparently featured in a Disney movie without actually being in a Disney movie.
It's the hair. It's the hair is the giveaway.
It is. He had that Mission Impossible 2 fop. A delicious Mission Impossible 2 fop. Are you actually going to edit that
Samurai.
Do I need to keep inserting it in at different points now during the thing just to make it really annoying for you?
No.
But yeah, there you go. Anyway, I might stick. Tom Cruise has got, much to your chagrin, Tom Cruise has got a lot of weird facts, so we might stick with Tom Cruise for a while, and I'll keep edging.
Please don't. Please don't. Please don't.
Yeah, I might just have to stick with that for a while. Anyway, moving on. So there you go. If you've got any weird Tom Cruise facts that you know about, write in, let us know. I'll read them out on the show, much to Zane's chagrin.
Undisputed Anime is such a safe place.
Not until I get over there, buddy. I'm brushing up on my anime.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Yeah. I bet.
Gonna come over there and burn it all down. That's what we do on the show. I take it to the heights, but then like a phoenix, I burn up too brightly, and then it all just comes crashing down.
Steady, Icarus.
He's already careful, Icarus. He's already had to worry about me doing DMCA stuff last week, and now he's got this. All right. Anyway, Zane, should we talk about the main event? Should we talk about Bullet Train?
let's talk about Bullet Train, a movie that came out at the beginning of August, which means I've just dated this podcast.
Yeah, nice one.
Yeah. As always, we'll be talking about certain key factors, I guess. We like to give it a rating. We like to talk about the characters, the visuals, and I guess sometimes we talk about theories as well. I don't know if you've got any sort of theories coming off the back of this, or you just want to
theories in regards to what the future of the franchise.
Why not? Yeah.
No, I don't have any theories for the future of the franchise. So, yeah, we can talk about some of the figures for it. So yeah, as you said, it opened up a couple of weeks ago. Not dating it. Its total worldwide box office so far is 68,976,000. This is as per thenumbers.com. Thank you very much. So the production budget. So the budget was 85 million. So it's looking likely that it will make back its money. So that's good. Although you normally have to double for marketing and sales, but
marketing and stuff. Yeah,
it's still a healthy opening. I don't think it's going to kind of like knock the socks off of any kind of box office. Its opening weekend was a lot. Like it was 30 million in its opening weekend.
Oh wow!
But yeah, it's. I mean, this. I've got to be honest with you. This was a film. I went into this film expecting nothing. I thought, oh, this looks kind of cool. Like it looks all right. It doesn't look anything special. I guess it's based off of a Japanese novel called Maria Beetle, which came out in I think 2010. And yeah, I didn't know anything about it really. I'd seen this quirky trailer where he's fighting, he's fighting the guy on the quiet car of the bullet train, and they're having a seat fight. And I thought, oh, that looks pretty cool. That looks all right. But I wasn't kind of but this, I loved this film. I absolutely loved this film. From beginning to end. I'm sorry, I'm not doing Disputed. Sorry, it's Undisputed for me. Sorry, there we go. Yeah. And I think it was Undisputed for you as well. Just
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I went into it with such an attitude of oh, this will be all right, but it won't be anything good. And then it was really, really good, and I just loved it from beginning to end. We'll get into kind of more details of it in a minute, but I want to get your reaction to it and what you thought, because I've just talked over you.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised as well. I went in with no expectations, as you said. I knew it was a comedy, and of course there'll be some sort of action. But as you say, this isn't riding high off a franchise or a previous film or anything. So I kind of wasn't sure what to expect, because I guess the last thing I saw Brad Pitt in was the Quentin Tarantino Hollywood movie.
Oh yeah, Once Upon a Time. Yeah,
Once Upon a Time. Yeah. So I was just kind of see what it's like, sort of thing. But yeah, really surprised. The cast is amazing. Absolutely, it wouldn't be my first pick for a cast, but I was pleasantly surprised as the movie went on with some of the reveals and such.
Yeah, no, it's wild. I mean, the casting in this, obviously you've got Brad Pitt as the main guy, aka Ladybug.
Yeah.
Joey King is Prince, the girl who's referred to as Prince.
Yeah.
Aaron Taylor Johnson is Tangerine. You got Brian Tyree Henry is Lemon. Hiroyuki Sanada is the Elder.
Yeah.
There's a very I won't say who he is, but the White Death is a very famous person who turns up in this as well. Wolf as well is somebody else famous that you and I recognise from a certain WrestleMania match. Well, I did anyway. But the one thing that was weird about this was the amount of bit part characters and cameos. Like, this thing was whacked full of cameos, man. Like, there was so many cameos in it. That was the one thing where I was kind of like, it was cool, but I thought it did take away just a little bit having so many cameos in it. And I won't, for anyone who wants to go and watch it, I won't ruin those cameos. We'll leave it, for once on the show, we'll leave it blank. But yeah, and then it's the other, but the ones that aren't like huge, big Hollywood cameos.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like the other kind of weird bit part cameos, like what's his name, Masioka, I think his name is. He's Hero from Heroes. Is in this.
Yes, like, as the train conductor.
What's he doing? Is he going to teleport? And then Karen Fukuhara, who is the woman from The Boys, is also in this as the lady who's pushing the trolley. And I was like,
with the car.
That's not they're not like main cameos, but because we're so like into other weird like comic-y fiction, I just kept going every time. It's like, it's her. But yeah, the plot is really. The plot's quite straightforward, isn't it, Zane? Do you want to talk about the plot, or do you want to talk about the visuals and stuff first?
Yeah, let's talk about the plot here, I guess. Whilst it's still, before we go into anything too deeply, I guess plot-wise, from memory, it's I guess it gets a little convoluted, but
just go with the beginning.
Okay, so it's about a certain package of money, a suitcase of money, which is being delivered along with the White Devil's son. But Ladybug's job is to get the White Devil. What did I say? White Devil. It's because of the Akuma mask. So Ladybug's mission is to get the suitcase from Tangerine and Lemon, who are also extracting.
They're trying to protect it.
And his son as well. And then shenanigans.
Yes, there's more than just those players on the train. But the idea is it all takes place on the bullet train as it goes to the end of the line. There's a load of twists and turns. There's a twist at the end which I did kind of see coming. It was fairly obvious, which I won't go into again. We'll try and keep this as spoiler free because it is. I want to say right now, guys, speaking personally, not for Zane, go and see this film because it's. I think that's one of the main reasons, and one of the things that you said that just sparked up in my ears was, this isn't a franchise. This isn't anything that's kind of like a continuation of something. This isn't like the 25th Marvel movie or whatever. This is technically a new IP, even though it's based on a book, and it was just really fun and like a great ride, and it like the way it was written was really well as well. Because like, if you're a British person, you're going to appreciate this so much. Because Aaron Taylor Johnson and Brian Tyree Henry absolutely steal the show in this film. They are unbelievably good. And like, there is again, no spoilers. There is an opening monologue where they talk, where Lemon, played by Brian Tyree Henry, talks about how he can read people based around a certain popular kids TV show. And it was one of the funniest things I have ever seen in a film. And I was almost crying with laughter in the cinema when he was saying it. And when he pauses on one of them, and you'll know exactly the bit that I'm talking about, Zane. When he pauses on one of them and just goes... I was like... It's too...
And curses out loud.
My wife next to me, who was American, she's just kind of like... It's not that funny. And I'm like, it's hilarious. But yeah, of course they did have anyway, I won't go into that because it will spoil. So to give you some facts about this film, so David Leitch and Brad Pitt, they have David Leitch is the director of this. He's directed some other stuff, probably most famously recently would be Deadpool 2. He was the man behind Deadpool 2, of which Brad Pitt obviously had a cameo in it for all of like 2 seconds when he gets electrocuted.
Yeah.
Spoilers. But yeah, people don't know that Leech. I didn't know this until you told me beforehand, Zane. Leech was Brad Pitt's stunt double for a long time. So he was at Fight Club, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Ocean's 11, Troy. He was his stunt double in all of those things. So it's kind of weird that he goes from that into directing.
Director's role.
He's also in this very briefly. There is a he is innocent victim number 17 who gets blown up by the car.
Oh,
so when they're doing that flashback and they're carrying through the kills. The guy who walks up and asks, "Are you all right?" That's the director of the film. Yeah,
that's brilliant. That is absolutely fantastic.
So yeah, another weird fact about this film that I did not know. So the operator, who I won't say the name of, the actor's name of, because it could be considered a spoiler, but the operator who talks to Ladybug was originally going to be played by Lady Gaga.
Mm-hmm. See, I like the switch.
I do as well. I agree. I think it's a much better switch. Much, much better switch. Let's see. Going on. So yeah, it's based on a Japanese novel. Leech had to drop out as director of The Division to work on this film. I can't say that because it involves cameos. So there's a that's interesting. So I want you to picture this in your head, Zane, all right? So you've got Aaron Taylor-Johnson.
Okay.
Aaron Taylor-Johnson, who I didn't know until recently was English. I had no idea he was English. It blew my mind.
No.
I didn't know he was English. When I saw him, I thought Brian Tyree Henry was English, and I thought he was American. And then I saw him in Snack Wars on Lad Bible, and he was talking with an English accent, and I'm like,
oh, yeah.
Is he putting on the character for this? What's going on? And I was like, no, he's actually English. What the hell? I had no idea he was English.
It makes you relook at Kick-Ass as well, because you've got
and Quicksilver.
You've got your hero, Quicksilver. You've got your hero and your villain in Kick-Ass, who are both like British actors.
We're just good at being baddies. What can I say? That's what we're all about, But the interesting thing about this is, right, so his character in this film, Tangerine, he's a Cockney, he's a Cockney geezer, isn't he? He's like, proper East
Absolutely.
End. All right, yeah, every bit of that, lovely. All right, Bob's a job, right? What do you think? What do you think was going through the head of the apparently Sony executive who cast him as Kraven the Hunter after seeing him in this film?
Could he do a Russian accent?
Apparently, Sony executives reportedly reached out to Aaron Taylor-Johnson after being impressed by his scenes in Bullet Train to star as the titular character in Kraven the Hunter.
Oh, right, I see. I guess the goatee? He has like a little mustache goatee?
If that's the case, this face, I should be up for all of Jack Black's roles.
I see it now you said it. I see it.
Sorry. That's what you need to do to be Jack Black, right? Anyway, for those of you who are listening on a podcasting medium like Spotify, people have told me I look a little bit like Jack Black. They've also told me I look like Chris Pratt, but very specifically Fat Chris Pratt from Parks and Rec, which I thought was absolutely charming. So I'll take it. I'll take a look-alike with Chris Pratt any day.
Why not?
But yeah, no. So Bullet Train. So like, I really, again, without ruining spoilers or anything like that. The way the film was structured was a bit weird. I did find it a little bit kind of. It did feel in the second half it did start to go a little bit all over the place. But they did explain away a lot of really good stuff. Like the reason why he's called Ladybug is because he absorbs all the bad luck, and it's I liked that a lot. It was funny. The interesting thing as well, the other thing I wanted to say as well was one of the facts. So I don't know if you noticed, but in the credits, the lady who's on the headset talking to Brad Pitt, at the end, she's named as Maria Beetle, which is the original title of the novel. So that character.
Oh.
I'm trying to think of what else.
I like that. That's a nice little touch.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I'm just having a look at some of the facts here. So the combination of the briefcase is 805, which is also the movie's release date.
Nice.
Let's have a look.
Was there any reference for the train sticker on the briefcase?
No, it's a kids one, isn't it?
I see what you mean.
Said it. I'm just trying to look at. There's no way I can talk about any of the other ones without spoiling any of the cameos that are in it. So just go and watch it and enjoy the cameos. But yes, I think what I was going to get onto then. Sorry, before I kind of went off on a tangent. My apologies. Was the way it was shot. The action in it was very kind of like. I enjoyed the way that he filmed it. Like David Leitch filmed this. Like it was it. I have a big issue with action at the moment where too many. It's like the Kevin Dunn syndrome of quick cuts, where everything is just really choppy and everything's and you don't see anything. It started with Batman Begins actually, because the fight sequences of Batman Begins are kind of structured a lot like that. And I don't know about you, Zane, but I don't like that. But in this, it felt like all the action was like properly like displayed and fluid, and it felt really smooth. And the fight sequences felt properly to the point where it's like, obviously these people have had some training, but it's not like a super polished kind of like, I'm gonna just be able to like counter everything you do. It's just by chance that, Ladybug is avoiding this stuff, by sheer chance of the confine of the bullet train. I don't know what you thought about that.
Yeah, I now you've mentioned it, it's kind of sparked a thought in my head a little bit. I've recently watched The Grey Man, and The Grey Man has some amazing action sequences, but the fight choreography feels so. It's not the same as, say, Winter Soldier.
Right. Winter Soldier. Yeah.
Which a lot of people make a lot of comparisons to, because it's another sort of action espionage thriller that the Russo brothers have done. So, but yeah, the combat is a little bit boring because it's so fast paced and there's, like you said, a lot of cutaways and
in
stuff.
The Grey Man.
Whereas in The Grey Man, where with Bullet Train, as you say, there's a lot more sort of interactive sort of fun with it, if you know what I mean. Like they use everything in the environment. They, for example, you may have seen this in the trailer, but Brad Pitt uses a briefcase to defend himself from knife strikes, and it gets really creative with it and such. And it looks like it's one of those things as well where they try to record it in one take as much as possible without, again, chopping and changing.
Yeah, I don't know whether it was I don't know whether they did film it in like a one take situation or whether it's just hidden editing that is exceptional. But like they really do a really good job of making it feel like it's all one shot all the way through. That neck snap though on the briefcase, not going to go into details, but man, that was brutal. That was something else. I was like, oh.
It really surprised me. That
it was unpleasant. The violence was pretty extreme in this. I wasn't expecting as much kind of. So, warning to people of a sensitive disposition, there is a lot of blood and guts in this. There's a lot of like. I think it's. I didn't mind it so much because it was kind of hyper violence almost. Like it was like an unreal type of violence almost. Again, without going into spoilers, there's a flashback scene to like a wedding, which is particularly look at him laughing. It's particularly bloody for those of you who've not seen it, but it's kind of ridiculous kind of bloody. And you get a snake on a train as well. What more can you want?
You do. I walked away from this and I couldn't help but compare it to Deadpool. It just captures that same like energy. I know, again, we've mentioned it's got the same director, maybe even the same writers, I don't know, but it just seemed to have that same energy as the Deadpool movies, but here's a different story.
Yeah, I'm not sure who wrote this. Let me try and find out who was the writer on this one. It's a very good question. I agree with you. It feels like David Leitch is getting into kind of like an auteur area where you recognize certain things about his films, like you recognize certain stuff that's coming, that is going to be in his films. And yeah, oh, that's interesting. Hang on, is that the final, or is that just the initial screenplay? It's the screenplay. So it was written by Zach Olkowitz.
Okay.
He's also the producer on this. He did not write Deadpool. He did write Fear Street, which was he wrote Part 2.
The Netflix.
Yeah, the Netflix horror Part 2, 1978, which is actually very good, guys. If you haven't seen Fear Street, you should go and watch it because it's really good. And man, is there some brutal stuff in that. Like really, really brutal kills. But that's interesting. I did not. Yeah, I can kind of see that with some of the quirky dialogue that's in it. I can kind of understand why it is structured like that. Yeah, so I'm trying to think of what else we can kind of talk about as far as Bullet Train's concerned. How did you feel about the CGI in it?
Ooh, that's a good question. It was fine. Like, I wasn't. There's certain moments where it felt jokey.
Yes.
If you know what I mean. Like, a prime example is, the sort of like action sequence where they talk about Carter,
yes,
the other agent that Ladybug is filling for. And there's like the whole car explosion behind Carter as he walks away.
Yeah.
That feels very jokey, but you know what I mean? It felt like...
Yeah, 100%.
It's not the best CGI, but again, it's just...
Yeah, the bit for me where...
For laughs.
Yeah, I don't know whether it was trying to kind of... Again, it's leaning into that hyper-real quality of the violence and everything inside it. The bit for me where it got a bit wonky was right towards the end when something happened to the train and Brad Pitt is kind of like, going through that action sequence.
Yeah.
And that bit for me was like, oh, that's a bit wonky. It's a bit wonky. That's the only part where I was like, okay, yeah, that's, that could be good. That could be much better. But unfortunately it wasn't. But that aside, it was fine. I have to be honest with you. I've seen reviews for this film. I don't think it's up there as like a masterpiece or anything like that. I'm not saying it's like the most perfect film ever, but I definitely disagree with the negative reviews of this. Like I think it's
absolutely,
as far as out of a 10 is concerned, I'd put it about an 8, probably about an 8 out of 10, somewhere around there. To give it like a 5 or a 4. It's just ridiculous. Like, this is like it's one of the most fun, interesting new pieces of cinema that we've had for like as far as let me clarify that. It's one of the big budget Hollywood action blockbuster new bits of cinema we've had for a while. Where you theoretically could make this into a franchise. You could make Ladybug like a returning, on a different mission returning. I don't think you should.
Yeah.
I think it should be left alone, personally. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Zane, but I don't think it needs to be. And it's fun, man. It's a fun ride.
Yeah. It's a really fun cinema experience as well. Personally speaking, I would like to see more of this world as well, because I really like mercenaries and assassins, and because one of my favorite movies, which again kind of I couldn't help but think of after watching it, was Lucky Number 11.
Oh yeah,
with Brad Pitt and
all those people.
Well, I know Morgan Freeman and Ben Kingsley's in it. I can never remember if it's Josh Hartnett or...
It is Josh Hartnett. It is Josh Hartnett. Yeah.
It is Josh Hartnett.
Yeah. Isn't Willis?
I love that movie. Yeah. Yeah.
Probably.
Great film, and again, it's the similar sort of, assassins and mercenaries and guns for hire sort of thing. So I would like to see more from this movie. I can't, if they were to do a spin-off, it's got to easily be like Lemon and Tangerine, like
like a prequel with Lemon and Tangerine in it. Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah,
that would be good. I don't see them like the thing is, Bullet Train's such a unique premise because the train is such a unique thing in the world. The only thing that you can do is put it on like an equivalent plane or something like that. And it's like, well, they're doing, apparently there's some kind of new Concorde like plane that they're doing that's like ultra elite businessmen, and it's supposed to get you from like America to England in like 2 hours or something like that. So like apparently that exists and is coming. You heard it here first, guys. But it's going to cost like £20,000 a flight. It's like it's super rich, like super expensive. But unless they do something like that, I can't really see it having legs as in terms of a franchise, unless they just call it, I don't know, the Ladybird Chronicles or something like that, or Ladybug Chronicles. But it just doesn't fit. Fantastic ladybugs and where to find them.
See, I was trying to think the legend of Lemon and Tangerine, or Tangerine and the Legend.
Oh God, Fruity Cocktail, the film.
Could be, yeah. Could be.
Yeah. No, I can see, like, Aaron Taylor-Johnson is fantastic. He's just so funny, man. Like, it's just so well done. And, like, I can see them having their own thing, but you'd have to get those two actors. That's the problem. You're locked into
Absolutely.
that.
It's their chemistry.
Exactly. And if it's not them, then what's the point, kind of thing,
I could easily see Guy Ritchie pinching Aaron Taylor-Johnson for a Cockney movie.
Both of them. I would not be surprised if they turn up in a Guy Ritchie movie soon, and then we'll find out it's like Aladdin 2.
God's sake. Hercules. He's working on Hercules.
I got him good that time. That was good. That was a proper Zane 4. That was good. But yeah, anyway. Well, we haven't gone into spoilers in this one, which is rare for us. We normally do go into spoiler territory, but I think this is one of those films where it kind of deserves to be left, like, just by saying, it's really good, guys. We really enjoyed it. You need to go and see it whilst it's still in the cinema, because it deserves to get its money back and be successful, so that Hollywood takes note and makes more films like this. So go and see it is all I'm going to say. Wouldn't you agree, Zane?
Absolutely, 100%. I'm really looking forward to when this comes to digital, because I'd happily buy it on whatever digital platforms are available. So yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, speaking of digital platforms, Zane, why don't the people, you, the lovely people out there, get in touch with us and let us know what you thought of the film? Was it bullet train or tram to Saigon? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, get in touch. How can they reach us, Zane?
You can get in touch with us, of course, on all our social media platforms, and at Undisputed_Nerds on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also find us on YouTube. If you're listening to this on your favorite podcast platform, check us out, Undisputed Nerds on YouTube. Of course, if you're already watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, like the video, drop a comment, let us know if you've seen it. If not, drop an emoji. Just pop something in there. If you are listening to this on your favorite podcast platform, give us a star rating. Again, hit a comment. And again, if you didn't know what to say, just put some emojis in.
Man, I cannot
that'd be
wait
fine.
to see the amount of aubergine and peach emojis that we're going to get after that. Yeah, you can find me on Twitch, by the way, guys. Twitch.tv/gentlemanlygamer when I'm not dying of heat. And you can also find me on the gram at gentlemanlygamer. I believe it might be She-Hulk next week, isn't it?
Oh, wow. That's come around quick.
Yeah, which my anticipation for that series has gone straight up after I saw the Daredevil picture.
Have they released a picture?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, they've released a picture of him in a suit.
Is it yellow?
It may be.
More of a mustard than a yellow.
Maybe I'll find it for you and send it to you after this, buddy. But yeah. Anyway, guys.
Okay.
Well, Zane, enjoy your time on this weekend. Yes.
Thank you. I hope you have a lovely weekend as well.
I mean, yes, I will. It'll be wonderful. All right, guys. Thanks very much, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.